who have participated in our DSHS webinars. We also look forward to your responses and input to our system demonstrations, which we have scheduled for June. And also, we'd like to have a big thank you for our members of the RSWG who have volunteered numerous hours to meet with DSHS and have provided their valuable expertise to the building of the new registry. We look forward to your continued collaboration, and we welcome additional volunteers to join us as we continue to build the next components. We do have daily sessions with trauma program and our vendor Consilience, and Consilience has become an invaluable partner in developing the EMS trauma registry. We have forged an excellent working relationship with them, and they have been very knowledgeable and helped us immensely in working through many of the development issues that we've had. Basically, our current accomplishments to date, we've completed the trauma modeling phase and the data mapping from the current registry to the new. And a key part of this model was the move to an MSIS 3.1 data elements. We've begun the database migration interface. The interface component has been completed and developed, and we are right now at this point doing data migration testing. So we're working through that. We have a number of project activities scheduled over the next 4 quarters. We have go live slated for the 3rd quarter of this year. And so with that, I'd like to kind of take you through the trauma registry schedule and provide you with an update of the activities currently underway and those scheduled in the next few quarters.
Okay, so for the quarter that we're in right now, April, May, and June, we have been converting the trauma registry legacy data, which is approximately 22 million records. As Rob was saying, we've been testing that conversion to see which records didn't come over and what the problem was and fixing those problems. We also have worked on this very important hospital and EMS interface. This is going to allow us to continue to accept the files that are sent to us now, so that this will give our vendors some time to work on a new file format with the new data elements. And during that transition time, we will not have any period of time where we won't be able to still have reporting happening. The other thing that we're working on right now is the validation rules and conditions that are applied to each of the data elements, and also the processes that we will be going through to ensure good quality data. We've been working with the Registry Solution Work Group to show them what we've already built, which was based in a large part on NTDB and NMSIS, because they already have validation rules that go with each of those data elements. We're going to continue the back and forth to work with them as we get new suggestions and new ideas from them that we need to implement. We put those into implementation. We come back to Registry Solution Work Group, show them the improvements that we have made, and continue on with that. That will happen at least over the next month or so as we continue to work on validation. And then last of all on there, which will be in June, is going to be the demonstration of what we have built so far. And we have already received feedback to make sure that we invite everybody who's a member of GETAC and their committees.
During 3rd quarter, our goal is really our system rollout, and this is scheduled for September. But to reach this goal, we have a lot of number of key activities. Basically, first of all, we have to get all the users of the current registry moved over to the new registry. And we have approximately over 1,100 hospital users and over 3,100 EMS users. So we plan to have those all pre-populated in the new system before we go live. We then will plan on an extensive user acceptance testing to make sure the components function as they've been designed. And then we will have some pilot testing. And the facilities will be, different facilities will be selected, and they will be able to test the system, and we'll select different facilities throughout the state, and they'll actually go through a test period where we can actually, they can go through and put different test scenarios through and actually put live data in or test data in to test system to make sure the outcomes are what we predict. During this process, we also have training, and we will be conducting several webinars providing training to all the trauma registry users. And this training will be basically how to access the system. If you do a batch load update now, you'll continue that process. There'll be a new site to go to for that, and we'll show you also how to perform data entry using the DSHS website. One of a key components that we're also working on is with TxDOT. And what we're doing there is we're trying to create the ability to import crash records into the trauma registry. TxDOT is an important partner with us, and because we are also trying to look at the prevention of motor vehicle related injuries. In Texas, the leading cause of injury death is motor vehicle related, and our goal is to link crash data with the trauma registry data and use the analysis of the data in our prevention efforts. System roll, like I stated, is scheduled for September 2012.
So right after the system goes live in September, what we'll be working on in October, November, and December, the customers, right when they first come in to the new system and start using it, they'll be able to do some ad hoc reports. These are mostly simple counts, and they are very limited in what you can do, but they are available. And we are right now working on customized reports to be built, and we're hoping that many of these will be built by this time period and be available for customers to use as well. And we are continuing to work with our stakeholders right now to make sure that we are building the highest priority reports first. And that is an ongoing conversation. As you might remember, we already gave a presentation here at GETAC in November about the desired reports in the system. And so now we need to go back and touch base and make sure we're getting the most important ones built first for that. Right from the beginning, anybody who's using the system will be able to extract their own data down to themselves. For instance, if you're used to analyzing data in a spreadsheet, you could extract your data down in that format, and then you would be able to analyze your own data using whatever tools that you typically use in your work environment. So that's going to be a great benefit to our customers. And then a new thing that we are building, which should be come into place during that fourth quarter, is the registration enrollment component. It has benefits for both people who are needing to establish a new account with us, also has benefits for people who already have an established account, because it gives greater functionality to the account managers. They'll be able to add their own users, delete users who have left their facility, no longer work there, for instance. There will be checks and balances put in place where my staff will get workflows to make sure that whoever is being entered in as a new user is legitimate and that sort of thing. But it will make this whole getting an account a lot more automated of a process. And we will be talking to the RAC chairs later on today about working with us to help create some new processes for the Memorandum of Understanding and the business associate agreements that are currently in place between EMS and RACs and between hospitals and RACs, because sometimes the mechanism for a RAC, for instance, to be able to access the data is through our system, and we want to make sure that all these agreements are up to date and are signed by the appropriate people. So we want to revisit our processes for that, and we'll be asking for them to assist us with that endeavor.
During each phase of this project, to the second, third, fourth quarter, we're always looking for stakeholder feedback. So through the stakeholder feedback, we're able to take a look and do additional analysis to make sure the features and components that are required in the registry to make it usable by yourselves are included. And after go live, we will also be listening to our stakeholders and getting feedback from their experiences with the new system. And like every new system, there will be new features and requirements that come to light. And it's during the first quarter of 2013 that, using this feedback, we'll begin planning our next release based on your priorities. So we plan on identifying these priorities, get your feedback, and we'll use this to build our version 2. Just one caveat to this should be noted that the number of enhancements that we're able to build and that we're able to go forward with will be based on the availability of resources. And this is usually how much funding we can really get.
So the demonstrations we've been talking about are scheduled for June 5th in the afternoon and June 7th in the morning. Our vendor consilients will be participating in those, and you will be hearing a lot more about that in the next coming weeks. And we're open to answer any questions or listen to any comments you may have. Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy and Robert. Just a question. Do you have to have an account to be able to access the data? For example, is it going to be queryable by the general public? For example, I'm with the Injury Prevention Center of Dallas. We're not submitting data, but if I wanted to, could I go on and figure out, do some quick analysis and reports for Texas?
We currently do have a public use data file, and that file is available through our Centers for Health Statistics. And we will continue to have a public use data file available. I don't know that it's going to be available through our system. We haven't built that into it yet. But we are also available to do any kind of data requests that you all may have. As you know, we've been providing a lot of data to this committee and will continue to do that. We've slowed down here in the last couple of months because we're extremely busy with trying to get this system built. But data requests are handled very quickly by our program. Usually within a few days, you can get your data request back from us. We do ask when we're working with you if you have a deadline, and we try to meet your deadline if you're needing something urgently. So that's one way to do it. But I know, for instance, the Injury Prevention Center of Dallas has a lot of capability for analyzing data, and the public use data file will be very useful for you for that. And that is available now and will continue to be available in the future.
Thank you. Committee members, do you have questions?
I've got a quick question too.
Yeah.
Can you say a little more about the end user training that you have planned through the July-September timeframe?
Yes, everyone is going to need to have some training. Even though we're moving over all of the accounts to the new system, you're going to need to know the web address to go to for the new system. You're going to need to know how to navigate to where to upload your file. You're also going to need to know where to navigate to do data entry if you are using our website to do data entry. Those are the types of things we'll be covering. There is the component on the registration piece of it, depending upon how much of that has been built, we may not be able to do training on how to manage your account in the system until a little later. But we want to make sure that the essential things that anybody needs to know as far as how to submit your data and how to look and see what happened to your data after you submitted it, whether or not you had records with errors, that sort of thing, that everybody understands how to do all of that so that we can continue on with business as usual and not have very much downtime. There probably will be a few weeks as we move to the new system where people won't be able to submit a file, so we want to be completely upfront about that. But if it's only a couple of weeks, then people who usually submit an electronic file to us, they'll still be entering data into their systems in their facilities. That should not slow them down whatsoever. The main people it will affect are the people who use our website to do data entry. So we're going to try to keep that down to as minimal amount of time as possible because we don't want to create a burden on people having a lot of records stacked up that they need to now sit down in front of the computer and get those entered in.
Will you be delivering that through like an online module or a webinar, the training that you mentioned?
Yeah, the training is going to be through GoToWebinar, and we will be doing a lot of them because we have a lot of users. So we want to make sure we give plenty of opportunity for people to be able to attend those. They will be formatted like a PowerPoint presentation. We are creating a training that will be available through that registration component. But being the registration component isn't ready by September for Go Live, we'll be using that same training that we're developing for that to do training in the summer then for Go